Look, if you've been learning Italian for a bit, you've probably noticed you're relying on the exact same basic adjectives over and over. Everything is just good, or bad, or nice. But come on, Italian is a language of absolute passion and extremes. We really need to fix that today, and we will.
I want you to think about this for a second. How do you tell someone a pizza wasn't just good, but the absolute best? If you're stuck using beginner vocabulary, you literally can't express those extreme degrees of quality. We have to break free from the basics so you can actually describe when a vacation was absolutely fantastic, or, when a movie was terribly boring.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, beyond basic Italian adjectives. Second, the superlative absolute. Third, next-level emphasis and irregulars. Fourth, the superlative relative. And finally, comparing actions with adverbs. Let's dive in.
Starting right off with level 1, beyond basic Italian adjectives.
This right here brilliantly illustrates exactly why we need superlatives. Saying something is just bello, beautiful, often just kind of falls flat. When you're standing there looking at the Colosseum at sunset, it's not just bello, it's estremamente bello. You need that expressive degree to convey what you're actually feeling. Italian absolutely thrives on emphasis, and mastering this early on is a total game changer for how native speakers perceive your fluency.
Moving right along to level 2, the superlative absolute. So what is this? Well, the superlative absolute expresses an extremely high degree of equality. But here's the catch. It doesn't compare it to anything else. The crucial point to remember is that this form is absolute. There is absolutely zero comparison happening here. You're not saying something is better than something else, you're just saying it exists at the highest possible degree, completely on its own.
You've actually got two main ways to build this absolute form. Method 1 is definitely the easiest. Just add the word molto, which means very, right in front of the adjective. So simpatico becomes molto simpatico. But method 2? That's where you start sounding like a true Italian. You literally just drop the adjective's final vowel, in this case the O in simpatico, and you attach the suffix issimo. That gives us simpaticissimo. It means extremely nice, and honestly, it's just incredibly fun to say.
Imagine tasting an incredible, authentic Neapolitan pizza. You wouldn't just sit there and say it's buona. No way. You'd use our new suffix and say, la pizza è buonissima. Now, quick reality check. Notice that ending. Because pizza is a feminine singular noun, the suffix issima has to adapt and become issima to match it. Gender and number agreement is a golden rule in Italian, so don't forget it.
All right, stepping it up to level 3, next level emphasis and irregulars. What's super cool about this is how you can use these expressive adverbs exactly like you use the word molto, but they instantly give your sentences these vibrant, nuanced shades of emphasis. Instead of always falling back on molto interessante, you can say davvero interessante, really interesting, or assolutamente sorprendente, absolutely surprising. Popping these words in instantly elevates your spoken Italian from sounding like a textbook to sounding like a dynamic, natural conversation.
Now those regular ississimo forms we just learned, they're fantastic for everyday speech, but you can also use these special irregular forms. Instead of buonissimo, you can say ottimo, which means excellent. And instead of cattivissimo for very bad, you can use pessimo, meaning terrible. Both the regular and irregular forms are totally widely accepted, but throwing out an ottimo just sounds wonderfully formal, elegant, and effortlessly fluent.
Okay, get ready. Welcome to the boss stage, the superlative relative.
So, unlike the absolute form we just mastered, the superlative relative actually does compare things. It identifies the person, object, or situation that has the absolute highest or absolute lowest degree of equality within a specific group. We're finding the absolute peak or the absolute rock bottom here. Just think of it as saying the most or the least.
Let's build a perfect sentence with a super simple 4-step formula. Step 1. Grab the definite article, the word for the, so il, la, e, or lei. Step 2. Add più for the most, or meno for the least. Step 3. Tack on your adjective. Step 4. Use the preposition di to introduce the group you're comparing against. And remember, your article and your adjective must absolutely agree in gender and number with the noun.
Let's see that exact formula in action, shall we? Roma is the largest city in Italy. We've got our article la, the comparative word più, the adjective grande, and the preposition di. Now notice di drops its e and takes an apostrophe before the vowel in Italia. It's highly structured, it's logical, and it's beautifully descriptive. Just like in level 3, this boss stage throws some irregulars our way. You could use the regular relative form and say il più buono, meaning the most good. But natively, Italians will almost always use the irregular il migliore, which translates directly to the best. And the same goes for the negative. Instead of il più cattivo, they just use il peggiore, the worst.
So the next time you're having the meal of your life in Italy, I want you to deliver this line with absolute passion. Questo è il migliore ristorante della città. This is the best restaurant in the city. You're correctly using the irregular relative to crown it the absolute best within the specific group of restaurants in that town.
Let's hit the bonus level, comparing actions with adverbs. When we want to compare how an action is actually performed, we use adverbs, which in Italian typically end in mente. And here is the biggest sigh of relief in maybe all of Italian grammar. Unlike adjectives, adverbs do not change form to agree with the noun. No gender, no number, they stay exactly the same. It makes this incredibly easy to construct. You just literally drop più or meno right in front of the adverb and you're good to go.
For example, check this out. Marco corre più velocemente di tutti. Marco runs faster than everyone else. We just take the adverb velocemente, meaning quickly, and slap più right before it. There's zero stressing over masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. It's just a direct, highly effective comparison of an action.
And here's a final pro tip for you. Earlier, we learned that D introduces the group. But if you want to say something like, Maria is the tallest among her friends, you can easily swap out the word D for tra or fra. They both just mean among. And throwing them in adds a really nice layer of sophistication to your conversational toolkit. All right, you are now fully equipped to ditch those boring basic adjectives for good. So, my final question for you is this. What will be the first incredible Italian experience you describe as ottimo or il migliore? Get out there, start practicing, and start expressing your absolute and relative extremes in your everyday conversations.